Welcome to my review of Fast Striker for the PlayStation 4. And I believe this was actually released on the Dreamcast and possibly the Neo Geo many years ago. But this is the PS4 version. And this was quite a good shooter. This was made by the same people who made Razian EX, which was a game I did a tutorial on the Maniac difficulty, which was a very cool fucking game. I like that one quite a bit better than this, but this has some strong hints of that game. Like, there's a lot of similarities in the art style and just the way, the way it plays and things like that, that it reminded me a lot of that game. So if you do know about that game and you like that shooter, then definitely pick this up because it was pretty cheap. I think it might have been like maybe $5 or something like that. So basically in this game, it's a overhead view shooter, kind of similar to Truxton, but it's more like it has bullet hell elements. It's not really like the bullet curtains like some of these games, but it's kind of like in the bullet hell style where you have a small hitbox and you're dodging a shit ton of bullets and shit on screen, so you really have to learn how to weave in and out of the bullets. And the way it works, if you mash the button, you do a wider shot, which is good for taking out when there's a lot of smaller enemies and shit like that. You want to mash the button, and when you hold it down, you fire a steady stream that does much more damage. So you use that to concentrate fire on bosses and do extra damage. So you got to balance those two types of shots constantly, so it keeps the action interesting. And you have huge bosses at the end of each stage, which are very cool fights. This is actually one I want to get back to and play on the hardest setting because I did enjoy this one a lot. Now, the way the game works, you're seeing normal footage here from the normal difficulty, but the more you play, the more credits you unlock. So as you play and fail, eventually when you replay, you may have something like 9 credits unlocked or something like that, which is plenty for normal mode. Because each credit gives you a few lives to work with, maybe 2 or 3. So eventually you should be able to beat normal, even if you're not good at shooters, So it's not a bad game to start with, even if you're not real good at shooters, because, it's a good game to learn with, as they give you a lot of lives to work with. There is also a much easier mode that's probably easier. I didn't try it, but I know in Razian, the easy mode was significantly easier than normal. I think the bosses died a lot faster. It's probably similar with this, since this game is very similar to that one. So as you see, you want to concentrate fire on the larger enemies and then mash for that wider fire for when there's smaller enemies around. So you're constantly balancing that and dodging everything. And you also have screen clearing bombs, which do massive damage to bosses and clear out regular enemies. So you got your usual shit that you would usually have in these kind of games. The game has a strong soundtrack that's quite good. I wouldn't say as good as Razian EX, which had some tracks that really stuck with me that I really enjoyed. But it's solid. It fits the it kind of fits the atmosphere of the game, I believe it's kind of in a bass techno kind of style, which fits with the game. So yeah, you're seeing some of the highlights here. Whenever I go through for these quick reviews, I try to isolate some of the highlights, some of the better fights and scenes. At least for the boss fights. So, you see how it is. You have to dodge. You have a very small hitbox in the middle of your ship. So the outsides of your ship can get hit, but it's that small hitbox in the middle that if you get hit there, you die in one hit. And you always start right where you died, but even when you continue, you start right where you died. The boss doesn't get its health back or anything. You start right where you died. But the challenge is that when you first start the game, you may only have 3 continues to work with. So maybe you have about 9 lives to work with. And then as you play more, eventually you unlock your 4th credit, 5, and I think it goes all the way up to 9. When I beat the game, I don't even know if I had the 9 credits unlocked. So I just skipped to the end here because I didn't want to show, the full final boss fight or anything. But it is a cool final boss fight. It's in line with the rest of the game. I mean, it's nothing that's going to blow your balls off, but it's a cool final fight. And it's just a solid, enjoyable shooter if you like these kind of games. It has a nice challenge. You got multiple difficulty modes to give you some nice replay. And it's definitely one I would recommend. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was quite a good shooter, and I really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.